America has had many influential leaders that have impacted the country in a positive way. Abraham Lincoln is one of the greatest leaders in American history. He was one of the strongest American leaders, and he abolished slavery because of his strong upbringing throughout his life. Lincoln learned the morals of respect at a young age and brought that into the Oval Office with him throughout his term. Without Lincoln's impact on our country, there is a very good chance that slavery or other extreme forms of racism will remain in America today. Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809 in Hodgenville, Kentucky. Lincoln knew the history of the country very well and had connections in a lot of the states. This helped him throughout his campaign and gave him an advantage over the other candidates. Lincoln experienced many crazy things throughout his life, such as making it out of a rough relationship with his father, becoming a lawyer, wise man, and becoming the President of the United States. Those experiences shaped Lincoln into a very strong leader and man that contributed a lot to the United States in a positive way. As a boy, some of Lincoln's hobbies were reading books, going for walks, and wrestling. Reading books are where Lincoln gained the majority of his knowledge, as he only went to school for 1 year before his father made him work on their land. Lincoln and his father did not have a good relationship at all, as Lincoln's father was irresponsible and forced Lincoln into unpaid labor. From a young age, Lincoln knew what it was like to be mistreated and valued respect greatly for others. This set the stage for what was to come for Lincoln's future as a president and as a man. Although Lincoln was a successful man and had many high points throughout his life, even the greatest of people faced tragedy in their life. One tragedy that Lincoln experienced in his life was that when he was younger, his older sister Sarah died during childbirth. This caused Lincoln's parents to become very depressed and stressed, which did not help Lincoln's situation at all with his father. Later on in Lincoln's life, his 11-year-old son died tragically, which led to the depression of his wife. Lincoln slowly watched his family life slip away in front of his eyes. Through all the struggle and tragedy that Lincoln's wife faced, her depression got so bad that she became emotionally unstable and attempted to commit suicide not once but twice, before later being placed inside a mental institution. After Lincoln died, his wife's madness continued to worsen. She went so mad that she believed that she could communicate with the dead. The tragedy in Lincoln's life does not stop there. While taking a show in at the theater, Lincoln was assassinated by a man named John Wilkes Booth. This was a very tragic event and changed the presidential security forever, as no threat to the president is taken lightly anymore. Lincoln also had many qualities that differentiated himself from other presidents. Lincoln became and believed that all men are created equally and that they should be treated that way. Not many presidents stood up for their citizens like Lincoln did, which is why Lincoln was so successful throughout his term. After becoming president, Lincoln had great experience when it came to equality, as he was a lawyer before he was president. Qualities of being a good lawyer are being fair, listening to both sides of the story, as well as many others. This helped Lincoln once he became president. Once he made it into the office, his main purpose as president was to abolish slavery and fight for equality of all. Slavery was a huge issue in America for many reasons, one of them being that it was free labor for the slave owners. In the southern states of America, citizens of white descent would often own large plantations and would own a large amount of slaves to tend to their fields. These owners would not pay their slaves, and the slaves would often be mistreated, beaten, malnourished, and going days without food or water. Slave owners viewed their slaves as lesser than they and would force them into work on the fields for at least 12 hours a day. Lincoln successfully abolished slavery from America by giving the African American race the freedom from slavery. The life of Abraham Lincoln was one of the greatest lived by any of America's presidents. His life was essential to American history as he impacted so many lives and played an important role in giving the black race their freedom. Throughout his life experiences, his will and drive to learn, Lincoln came out a great man who overcame struggle and made it to greatness. He had a humble beginning and learned from his mistakes, which led to Lincoln becoming a very solid man. He was strong in who he was, and yes, thank you.